But jumping back, hey, I know I probably pissed off every Ole Miss listener we got, but sorry, Lane Kiffin's doing a hell of a job. It is what it is. I hope for your sake I'm wrong as hell, and I probably will be. If I'm saying Kiffin should be your next coach, it's probably a good indication he's about to sign him another contract extension down there in Ole Miss. But hey, we got a game here. All of a sudden, looks a lot more intriguing because Ole Miss only got one loss on the season. They are an Alabama upset away from controlling their destiny to Atlanta, and they're facing an LSU team that just beat Florida as a massive, massive underdog. They got that running game going, and this game, like I said, last year, same deal. I mean, Ole Miss was favored, if I'm not mistaken, against a banged-up LSU squad, and LSU found a way to win. I mean, it's almost like a repeat of the Florida game from last week. You think there'd be a revenge factor, but it was the opposite. And this is a rivalry game. I mean, these players are going to get up for this. I'm sure there's so many players on each sides of this game that know each other in the recruiting process. LSU is going to be fired up, ready to play, as is Ole Miss. So, but the big question now, will Matt Corral be healthy? He just ran the ball 30 times for 200-plus yards on Tennessee's defense. No need to remind Cousin Shane of that one. But Kiffin's out here saying Matt Corral may not play. And then Lane Kiffin turns around and says, Eli Manning and Matt Corral, you can be able to see him if you come to this game.
Lane, just how's Matt feeling? They are so removed from that, and just kind of your thoughts on I think he's the first person to carry the ball 30 times since in the past 14 years. Just kind of your thoughts on his performance.
Well, that's not a real stat that I'm excited about. I didn't know that in 14 years. We'd like that to be a running back and not our, 200-pound quarterback. So he's not in very good shape. Hasn't been for the last 2 days. So you guys know how we are on injuries. Hopefully he'll play, but I do not feel good about that right now.
Lane, as you know, the program's obviously honoring Eli Manning at halftime. I was just wondering if you had a comment about that or comment about any interactions you've had with that family and the impact they've made on this.
Yeah, obviously, they're the university, the Manning family, and, have always had great respect for them, and second place where the quarterback has played would have been the head coach. So it'll be really cool. Saturday I tweeted something this morning. I would think this would be a very hot ticket. I get to go see Eli Manning and Matt Corral. So be a pretty cool thing Saturday.
So which one is it? Is he going to play? Is he not? I don't know. Kiffin's mixing his messages here, and I thought this was great. Coach O was asked about it, and what do you know? Coach O says he ain't buying this bullshit.
Okay. And then, there was also some news this morning that it sounds like Matt Corral was pretty beaten up in that last game against Tennessee. Coach Kiffin doesn't know if he's going to be ready to play this week. Could you just talk about, their quarterback room as a whole and maybe some of you guys know about their backups as well?
Well, we just started, looking at them, obviously. We just started studying Ole Miss. I've been looking at Matt Corral all morning, and we're expecting him to play. But we're gonna study a second-team quarterback. But knowing Matt and knowing Coach Kiffin, he's kind of throwing me a smoke screen.
Hey, and don't forget, on Coach O's end, this is a team, he's got a long history with it. It's really been downplayed since he's been the head coach there at LSU. He's not made, he always says it's not about me, it's about the team. But, I think at the end of the day, he's probably got some resentment towards Ole Miss, even though that was so long ago. LSU has really owned the Rebels under Coach O. So, hey, like I said, man, we'll find out this weekend. This is going to be, I think, a really, really good. This may be the best game of the weekend. It's the CBS SEC game of the week as well. So can LSU keep that ground game going? The defense, they got abused a little bit in that Florida game, but they won it because they forced so many turnovers. Matt Corral just threw his first interception of the season last week against Tennessee, kind of nearly came back to bite the Rebels. So can you really do that to Matt Corral if he plays, which I certainly suspect he will, but very unlikely. So how's this defense? But maybe they've gained some confidence in that Florida win by forcing all those turnovers. I know the LSU defensive line's been getting after the passers all season long, so that's going to be a matchup to watch. Max Johnson, Matt Corral 2.0 going head-to-head. Max Johnson won last year, and this was a game, much like all Arkansas game last year, Matt Corral had somewhat of a little meltdown in this one, multiple turnovers. It was in the rain. It was a nasty game. I don't think many people watched it because it was on at the same time as the SEC championship. It was one where, COVID pushed it back, and it was just an odd time of the schedule. But again, this is a rivalry game. I think this is going to be a really, really good game here on Saturday. And Coach O, Lane Kiffin going head-to-head. We'll see who wins this round.